Welcome back to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host as always, LitecoinLeader. Today we're talking about something very, very important called a bank bail-in. What is it? How can you protect yourself? Things you can do, and how are they different from the bank bailout back in 2008? That's what we're going to talk about right now. So, first, bank bail-ins. What does that mean? That is where a bank can actually seize your money that's in your bank account and take it as their own and buy bank stock to try to alleviate their own financial problems. Obviously not good for you, but how do you protect yourself? And first off, how is it different than the old bank bail-in, or I'm sorry, the bank bailouts? Even I get confused how it works. Back in 2008, if you not remember this, you probably should, but in 2008, the banks came this close to failing. And what they did is they did a bank bailout, and the governments came in and bought up all the issues and threw money basically at the problem and printed it, of course, and bailed out all the banks because they were too big to fail. Now we've got bank bailouts, but no, bank bail-ins. Even I get them wrong. So bailouts, 2008, bank bail-in, threat right now. What that is that the bank can seize your money and use it for their own purposes to solve their own insolvency issues. Not good. So how do you protect yourself? First off, you need to know something, and there's a very, very important rule. I'm going to save that for last. But first, what you can do is you need to diversify your risk. Put your money in different bank accounts to try to make sure that they can't seize it. Obviously, remember the FDIC rule of $250,000. But remember that the FDIC, the actual insurance, is well underfunded. I want to say it's only 1%. It's definitely below 5% of all assets that they are supposed to be able to insure. They're not funded to do that. So you're not as protected as you think you are if you think FDIC insurance is going to cover you. Second, you need to be, and this is the most important thing in the entire video, if you look at the video, and I'm going to link that video right here. That's right. Just my left hand, yeah. So right here, I'm going to add a video that tells you this certain rule that only certain banks of certain size are allowed to do bank bail-ins. Not many people know that, but I did some homework. I found this before. I went and found another video that confirmed it. And I'm going to put that video right up here. And if a bank has $50 billion of assets under management or more, they can do a bank bail-in. This is why you want to use credit unions or smaller banks. And with a thanks to Zelle, and you got to watch how you can move your money around. Sometimes you have to go to the bank and pull it out. So it can be a nightmare. But if you want to protect your money, that's how you protect it. You want to protect it by putting your money in a bank that has less than $50 billion. So that's what you want to look for. So look at it, go and look up all your bank accounts, see which ones have a lot of money or they have less, and keep your money. How you doing? So you want to keep your money in banks that have less than $50 billion at all times to protect your wealth. So that's the best thing you can do to protect your money. So to avoid a bank bail-in, put most of your assets in a bank that has less than $50 billion. It's usually your local credit unions or a small regional bank. And I will provide a link. How am I going to do this? Probably in the description down here. I'll put a description down here, and I'll also put it on my Patreon. We talked about some cool stuff on my Patreon last night. If you weren't on the AMA, you really should be. And there's going to be a new month starting right around the corner, so you should be joining the Patreon. Get on those AMAs. You can ask me whatever you want. We talked about a great one. I'll do a little clip of what I did last night. We analyzed Loopring going forward, whether it's a good time to get in. Not financial advice, as always, but what the charts are telling me and the price targets. I set a target last night for Loopring, and we talked about it pretty well, and I looked at it two different ways. They both kind of lined up. So it's going to be a cool video. I'll do a snippet of that later on, but that's kind of the things you can ask me on the AMA, and we can actually look at a coin and track it in real time and talk about it that way. So we got that going for us. So again, bank bail-ins. Back to the main topic. I'm going to put a list of the banks that are at, according to the latest list that I could find, banks that have $50 billion in assets under management or higher. These are like your Citibanks, your Bank of Americas, but there's a lot of banks. There's some regional banks like PNC. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I'm sure Wells Fargo's up there. But there's about 50-ish banks in the US that have more than $50 billion under management. So this is where you gotta watch for and be careful. If you wanna protect your wealth and avoid the bail-in, try to have at least one bank account under your control. I recommend having more than one bank account, but to have most of your wealth, if you're gonna keep cash, and I don't recommend, not financial advice, but a lot of people would say, the dollar's losing value, why would you hold it there? Just cover your bills. If you're gonna have your money elsewhere, Of course, I recommend crypto, precious metals. Again, diversify your risk, and you can earn up to 9% in an app like Abra, where you can take your cash, buy USDC, be making 9% or more on an annual basis on cash. Remember, savings accounts, that actually exist still. It's just done in the crypto space. So again, bank bail-ins are a real danger right now. It could happen at any moment, given the financial structure and how fast the dollar is collapsing, what the economy is doing. Protect yourself. Avoid the bail-in. Get your money out of the bigger banks that can pull this stunt and could really adversely affect your financial well-being. And we're all about financial freedom, but you got to protect your wealth too. So protect your wealth, get it out of the banks that could potentially seize them in a bail-in, and put them in a regional bank. And if you don't have an account, consider doing one, or put it into a crypto account, and then be careful about how much money you have in the other accounts. So I hope that was valuable for you. Again, there's lots going to be coming out. I'm going to be putting out more content. Last night we talked about, I put out my entire list of altcoinopoly videos, and some I've refreshed. I have probably about 20 more to just re-release between now and, I hope, by mid-January at the latest. Get them all out there, get them properly named so you can find them. But if you're not a member of my Patreon, you should be, because all the videos are documented there, and all my ratings and everything, all the coin numbers, everything is right there for you. So come on over to my Patreon, and always you can use LitecoinLeader.com, which is totally free, and of course this YouTube is free too. So plenty said today. Hope you got some value out of this and the information was good. With all that said, I'm going to close the drawer in the bureau. See you next time.